That's about it.
But do you enjoy it?
Oh, it's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear you today.
Oh, thank you.
Which country do you go from?
I was from Hong Kong.
Oh, okay. You're just playing from South
Oh,
America.
today, yes.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there are some music from Ecuador, from Peru, and from Brazil.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Double check.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to the free concert series at the College Church. My name is Ilana Katie. I'm the music director here and the founder and artistic director of the series. And I'm so happy you've chosen to join us on this beautiful sunny winter day. We have a wonderful artist, Dr. Po Sim Head, who is from Kansas, originally from Hong Kong. And she has a very interesting program this afternoon with piano works from South America, which will be works that you probably have never heard before, composers you've never heard of before. And she was recently in South America performing these works with some of the composers and some of the composers' relatives that attended her concert. So it's a really, really cool project, and I'm so glad she's traveled all the way from Kansas to perform with us this afternoon. I invite you to look at the back of your programs, and you can see the next 3 upcoming concerts that we have. I hope you'll join us again in a month. And if you want to look on the inside cover and you'd like to be a supporter of the series, you can scan the QR code and read more about that. We'll have a reception after, and without further delay, I'd like to invite Dr. Po Sim Head.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ilana, and thank you, Free Concert Series, for having me to perform today here in this wonderful hall. And my name is Po Sim Head, and I just want to give a little bit introduction of myself and why I'm doing this project. So I grew up in Hong Kong, and it is very far away from South America. So then my exposure to South American music at that time was basically zero. And I didn't know much about South America. I didn't know much about their music. The only thing I know about is Argentinian tango. Yeah, I bet most of you knows about it as well. Yeah, so when I moved to the United States 8 years ago in 2016, I decided that I wanted to do something that I don't know. I wanted to learn something that I have never explored. So then during my master's degree, I had my dissertation on my musicology about a Cuban composer. Then that was my first time that I explored some South American music or the music in Latin America. Then fast forward during my doctorate degree, and again, I need to do a paper about something to graduate. And I told my teacher that I want to learn something again about a Latin American composer. And then he suggested me to look at one of his articles about a Peruvian composer. And I'm going to perform 2 sets of his pieces today as well. Yeah. Just to give you some background about South America. So South America is the 4th largest country, 4th largest continent in the world. And Brazil today, that I'm going to play a few pieces by Brazilian composer, is actually the largest country in South America. And Ecuador, if you click on the left side. Yeah, so we are going to start with the 2 composers from Ecuador. Ecuador is a very relatively smaller country in South America. And the reason it's called Ecuador is because it's very close to the equator, so the temperature is nice. And if you want to travel there, one thing is very convenient is that they use the US dollar. You don't need to do any currency exchange. Yeah. But recently, Ecuador, they have some crisis about they lost power all the time because they use water to run electricity, and they have been no drought or no raining for a whole season. So I have some friends there, and they said they lost power 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day. Yeah, it was rough. Yeah. But yeah, so besides Ecuador, I'm going to also play a few pieces by Peruvian composers. Yeah, if you click on the next slide, there's some pictures of Ecuador and some background about Ecuador. And the capital is Quito, and Peru. And the capital is Lima. Both Ecuador and And Peru, the official language is Spanish, while Brazil, the official language is Portuguese. So there's a very big difference in their culture as well as in their musical language and also style. The pieces that are chosen to play today by Ecuadorian composers and Peruvian composers, they both have the elements of like Andean music. So Andean is in the mountain. There are some indigenous people. They use their own instruments to do some celebrations, like including the quena, which is the fruit, and then this is interesting, the jawbone. They use the donkey jaw to make a percussion instrument, and by like sliding this. And one that I forgot to bring it with me is the saproya. That's they play as a group sometimes, and they play as like one group play one note, and then the other group play the other note to form a melody. So which is very challenging to play. And the one other instrument is the Peruvian cajon. That's the box drum that a lot of pop singers use it today. Yeah, but talking more about the elements of Andean music, they use some of the pentatonic scales. That's very similar to like Chinese folk music or some Asian folk music, like that. But you will find the music that I play today, they have some innovative direction to use these pentatonic scales. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so I do enough talking. So let's start with like the first piece that I'm going to play. That's by a Ecuadorian composer. His name is Luis Humberto Salgado. He was a very influential composer in the early 1900s. And the piece that I've chosen to play today is called the Rhapsodian Ecuadoriana No. 3. And the reason I chose this is because it actually has a lot of like the romantic, the European romantic style that you will find. There's some places that it sounds like a little bit like Chopin, and there's some places sounds like a little bit like folk music. So he combines both of them. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. So my next piece is a set of 3 pieces by Blanca Nayana Gomez. She's also from Ecuador. She's a living composer, but she's currently retired, retired pianist, retired composer, but yeah, she's enjoying her success. One thing that I want to share with you about how I know these 2 composers, and I actually learned from them from my teacher when I was studying at the University of Kansas for my doctorate degree. And she's from Ecuador, and she asked me, since she knows that I'm interested in learning more about South American music, about Latin American music, and so she gave me some score by Salgado, and then she also introduced me to Liana Gomez, since I also write articles. So after that, I write some article about both of them, and I also start playing their pieces, and I've been enjoying it. Yeah. And just one more thing about the difference between Salgado's music or Gomez's music is that Gomez wrote a lot of pieces for children. So this set of 3 pieces, actually 7 pieces, I'm playing 3, but they have like it's good for teaching purposes, as well as it is very lovely to listen. I hope you enjoy. So the next set of 4 pieces is from the first suite of the 7th suite of Peru. It's written by Francisco Pura Vidal. He's the person that I wrote a dissertation paper about. The reason I wrote about him is because my degree is about piano performance and pedagogy, and he wrote a lot of music that I found is very useful to introduce to my students. So that's why I found some pieces written by him and write a paper and also do some performance. And after graduation, and since I got more music written by him, then I decided to make an album and to feature his music and also to introduce his music to more people. And he was very influential in the 1950s in Peru. So back in the 1950s or back in the early 1900s in Peruvian art music, they didn't really have much development until in the 1930s. The next piece that I'm going to play is called Cantu by Jimmy Lopez. Jimmy Lopez is one of the probably most famous Peruvian composers internationally today, and he lives in Los Angeles. And yeah, and then he has a lot of work premiered by Los Angeles Orchestra, so a lot of his orchestral work and operatic work has been performed, and this is one of the compositions that he wrote in 2011. So Cantu is a word in Quechua, in the indigenous language in Peru, and it refers to the national flower in Peru. So in his program note, he said the music have described the life of the flower, that it grow and it die, it grow back, it die again. Yeah. Thank you. So the next set of 3 pieces is Paco Yunque by Francisco Pura-Vidal. Paco Yunque was based on, the title is based on the Peruvian literature called Paco Yunque, that it is a literature that schools still, is a required literature in school today in Peru. And these 3 pieces is really fun to play, and it's also very fun to listen because it has a lot of like the rhythmic elements of it is very, what should I say? Very rhythmic. There we go. And then it also have a lot of the elements of like very percussive elements in it. Yeah, so like I said, it's really fun for me to play it as well. So the next set of 3 pieces is by Sadiel Quintus. When I was doing the dissertation about Francisco Puga Vidal, or when I was doing my doctorate degree, it was during the pandemic. So a lot of research was, I tried to get it done on the internet, but it was very difficult for me to find any resources in the school library or in the different universities, because a lot of the university in the world shut down, including in Peru. So when I contacted the library in Peru, and I didn't get any response from them, so I reached out to a lot of people online. Like I found people on YouTube, and that they play Peruvian music, that I reached out to them. I found people on Facebook that they are Peruvian, so I talked to them. And then I found Sadiel Quintus. And he helped me to find a lot of scores, and he helped me to find a lot of books that I wanted to get while I couldn't get it from the library. And he also helped me to understand a lot of Peruvian music. And these 3 pieces that written by him is very contemporary, while at the same time he used a lot of the folk elements, including the 3 pieces he all used the pentatonic scales in like different ways. Like the first one is start with the left hand looks at one at a time, while the right hand would diminish a note at a time. So it's very interesting to play. It's also very difficult to play. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. One thing that I forgot to tell you about Sadiel, he told me that he liked horror movies. So when he said that to me, and I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. So the next composer, he's from Brazil. His name is Mozart Camargo Guaraldi. And so you notice his first name is Mozart. And the reason that I found on Wikipedia, actually, he has three other siblings, other brothers. And his father is an opera, he likes a lot of opera music. So he named his son Mozart, Bernini, and Rossini, and also Verdi. Yeah. So apparently Camargo Guaraldi didn't like it, so he always just abbreviated his first name to M, that he didn't want to be related to Mozart at all. So the piece that I'm playing by him is called Danza Allegra, and this is a piece that he was inspired when he went to a carnival. So the music started really quiet because he was featuring, like, imagining himself was walking to the carnival, hearing the music is getting closer, closer. As it gets closer, it gets louder, and it has all different other elements like the African drums, so it has different rhythmic sound going on at the same time. Thank you. So the next three pieces are written by Barboso. Her first name is Casilda Barboso. She was a composer that is pioneer to electronic music, and she was also a piano pedagogue that she wrote a lot of teaching pieces for students, including this set of 6 pieces, so I'm playing 3 of them. And one thing that I like about her music is that she used a lot of popular music as the element, and also the Brazilian music, including the salsa, including the different dance style. So you hear the syncopation, you hear different rhythm that is pretty fun to play and pretty fun to listen to. Thank you. So it comes to the last piece that is written by Milos Lobelet. And one thing, how I found his music and how I found out about him was that it was last year when I was trying to write an article in February, and I was born in February 18. So I was trying to find some idea what to write, so I decided to research about if there are any composers or musicians was born on the same day as mine. So then I found Milos Lobelet. He was born on the same day, but like he was a little older than me. Yeah. So this piece that he wrote is called Fervo. In Portuguese, it means boiling. I mean, refers to boiling in English. So it is very fiery. It is very exciting. And I think this is a good piece to end this recital today. And I hope you have been enjoying this recital and we'll be coming back to the concert series next month. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Let's give her one more round of applause. Thank you again all for coming out on this beautiful day. Please join us in the back for a reception. Thank you so much.